So Manny Pacquiao, there's a lot of names been thrown around. I don't know if y'all heard. Danny Garcia came out stating that um, he's gonna steal the Manny Pacquiao fight from Errol Spence. Also, Mikey Garcia said they're negotiating with Manny Pacquiao, and you have Manny Pacquiao wanting to fight Lomachenko, and then you have Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence. So, knowing Manny Pacquiao and his track record, who do you think Manny Pacquiao is gonna fight next? From all these names I just named, Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Lomachenko, Errol Spence versus Shawn Porter winner.
I think I'm guessing that you will see Manny Pacquiao sign a contract to fight Mikey Garcia.
Mikey Garcia,
Yeah.
after taking the biggest ass whooping of the year.
He's still a name opponent. When you fight a Mexican or a Mexican American fighter, they are going to have a robust fan base that are going to accompany that fight. He wants that fight to be on pay-per-view, and Manny Pacquiao has a storied history against Mexican and the Mexican American fighters. So I think that's a built-in storyline for that. So from Eric Morales to Marco Antonio Barrera to Raul Marquez, there's a storied history with that. I think that it's a calculated risk for Pacquiao. He won't be at so much of a size disadvantage, which he's used to. He's learned how to box effectively from that. But I think fighting somebody who he's probably similar stature with Mikey. I ultimately, but we're not predicting on that fight. But I mean, that's that's who I predict is going to get that fight.
Now, as far as obviously Mexican, they are known for boxing and supporting their people when it comes to the sport of boxing. But I believe it's a handful of fighters. I don't think Mikey, after coming off a loss like he did with Errol Spence, because let's not forget, he didn't perform too well. He got beat up the whole night. So it's not a good look for Manny Pacquiao to state, I want to fight the winner of Spence and Porter, and then fight the guy who Errol Spence literally beat up, all night long. So it's gonna be hard to sell the pay-per-view. And obviously, Mikey's not a trash talker, and Manny Pacquiao is not a trash talker. So if there's not a lot of trash talk going on, and the fact that they don't have no history, obviously they sparred in the past, but that was about it. Like the Marquez situation where Manny actually fought Marquez and lost to him, or had a draw, back and forth. That sells. Controversy sells. But the fact that Mikey, like I said, he talked all that big talk against Errol Spence, but he couldn't live up to it. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing Mikey get an opportunity, but I just don't think that fight will do too well. And
Why not?
Because he's just coming off a big loss.
So
like, people remember you.
Who you think people want to fight? Who want to fight more? Mikey Garcia fight Errol Spence, or Mikey Garcia fight Pacquiao, and that was a pay-per-view.
I believe Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence will still top Mikey Garcia versus Manny Pacquiao, because
No way.
Hold on. Let me explain.
No way.
I believe what sold.
No way.
Let me tell you why. The reason why. Do you know how many pay-per-view numbers Keith Thurman did against Manny Pacquiao?
I don't.
450, I believe.
How many did Errol Spence and Mikey?
375.
So
Hold on. Keith Thurman, that's a big name, right?
Keith Thurman's not a big name. He's never had a pay-per-view fight. He looked trash in his last fight. He had been away from the boxing community for 2 years. People don't.
That's what Manny Pacquiao fans want. If they're gonna pay a Manny Pacquiao fight, they're gonna want him to win. They're not gonna want him to get knocked out.
Yeah. I mean, you just said that it has to be somebody who's like recognizable, and they're gonna think that out of all of those names that you said, that he has the best chance against Mikey Garcia. I actually think Mikey Garcia will win that fight. I think it'll be good. It'll be a lot of back and forth, but it's no way that Manny Pacquiao against Mikey Garcia
well,
doesn't outsell Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia.
Let me explain my case. So you have Mikey Garcia, right? He never been on pay-per-view before the Errol Spence fight. He never been on pay-per-view. And Keith Thurman never been on pay-per-view. However, Keith Thurman been in big fights. And Keith Thurman big fights when he fought Shawn Porter and when he fought Danny Garcia, I believe.
That's how long? 3 years ago?
2 years ago. Whatever, though. But my point is, he did 3 million views versus Shawn Porter and 4.9 million views against Guerrero when they first started PBC. And he always managed to do millions, right?
Are you talking about Mikey
Keith
Garcia?
Thurman. No, that's Keith Thurman. Mikey Garcia, on the other hand, when he fought Broner, and Broner is a big name.
That was pay-per-view.
No, it was on Showtime, regular Showtime.
Oh.
They did 950,000 views. So I'm saying if after he fought Broner, he fought Robert Easter.
One's a paid cable premium, other one is on
obviously,
free TV.
That's my point, though. That's what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
So Mikey fought Robert Easter after that, did around the same numbers he did against Broner. Then Mikey chose to fight Errol Spence. Even though you could say, obviously, that's Showtime and that's free TV, but that's the whole purpose of free TV. It gets you to exposure to more fans. So people will know you more. Oh, I remember seeing that fight. More people saw Shawn Porter versus Keith Thurman than they did Mikey Garcia versus Broner because it was on free TV. That's the whole purpose of Al Heyman putting fights on free TV to build up fighters. So when Keith Thurman fought Manny Pacquiao, you expect with Manny Pacquiao's status, they will sell like 1 million pay-per-view, especially after all the trash talk. After Manny Pacquiao got threatened by Keith Thurman, he would crucify him.
It was
lame.
It was lame trash talk. It seemed like Keith Thurman was pressing. It wasn't clever. Like nobody's impressed with Keith Thurman's talk. Keith Thurman had some legitimacy to the supremacy at 147. Nobody cared about that trash. It was kind of sad.
Let me finish. Hold on.
Sad.
Keith Thurman, you keep saying that after the fight, but Keith Thurman could talk the talk. He just couldn't walk the walk.
Really?
If he knocked him out,
he's cringy when he talks.
So look, some people might find it corny, whatever he said, cringy, whatever. But at the end of the day, if Keith Thurman pulled off the knockout, I promise you, people would have like, oh man, like it would have blew up most of the things he say. But now,
that's just a good name.
It became a perfect example of trash talk going wrong for Keith Thurman. That's why it's not a good look, right? But my point is, up to that point, people believed in him. People thought he was going to knock out Manny Pacquiao.
No, but trash talk gone wrong is like McGregor fighting
Khabib,
the Magomedov. Like that's somebody else was doing that. Keith Thurman, it was just.
What you mean? He got knocked out the first. He got knocked down the first round. That's trash talk going completely wrong.
All right.
So, anyways, my point is, Mikey Garcia chose to fight Errol Spence. Why? Because that was the biggest fight possible, bigger than a Lomachenko fight, bigger than any fight around his division. So he decided to move up 2 divisions. Why? Mm-hmm. Because Errol Spence has the Cowboy engine behind him. Cowboy is a $5 billion company right there. So they pushing Errol Spence. They promoting Errol Spence in the meantime during games.
They don't have the Cowboy engine. First of all,
they promoting him during games. But my point is, he fought Ocampo, right? Mm-hmm. Sold 15,000 tickets, and nobody knew Ocampo. And then against Mikey Garcia, obviously, it was in his hometown. Let's say half of them fans wasn't Errol Spence fan. But after the fight, guess what? Them fans will become his fans because he fought Mexican style. Mikey Garcia did not fight Mexican style. So my point is, if Mikey Garcia, after that embarrassing loss, obviously he decided he wanted to be great, but he failed at it. He
gets credit for doing it.
He gets credit, but he don't get credit. Look, you gotta pull it off. You can't just get credit for losing.
It's levels to this stuff, right? So when Errol Spence, who has a cowboy machine behind him, right? You know where they had that fight at? It wasn't at the stadium. That's another thing. It was at the training center.
But he still sold 15,000 tickets.
When Manny Pacquiao fights out there, he fights in the big stadium.
And where did Errol Spence fought Mikey Garcia?
I don't know.
At the big stadium, they sold 47,000 tickets.
That's okay. It's
You know,
about half what Manny Pacquiao sold
do you
there.
know Errol Spence versus Mikey outsold Manny Pacquiao versus Claudia, I believe. I think they outsold him, or they
It didn't outsell Manny Pacquiao against Antonio Margarito.
Maybe I don't know, but I sold one of them, but it was.
It wasn't that.
It was like
that one was like 80 something.
Oh no, it wasn't no 80,000. I promise you, no. It's probably 52.
Maybe right.
But I'm saying, regardless of any of that, the only difference is a couple thousands. It don't matter. Like 47,000 and 48,000. I don't see that's a big deal. My point is, Errol Spence is the star. So Errol Spence is who won the fight. Errol Spence, who the fans, when they left that night, they were like, man, Errol Spence, that's a bad boy. That's a bad man.
But I'm trying to figure out. So what's your argument? So your argument is that
my argument is Mikey
Garcia are going to sell out. Are going to sell more than if Mikey Garcia fights Manny Pacquiao.
Repeat the question.
So your thoughts is the fight that already happened, Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence, will do better numbers than if Mikey Garcia fought Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, I just don't believe the fight will sell. I believe if Manny want to do big numbers, I believe maybe a Danny Garcia fight, because Danny at least coming off a win. Like if Mikey hold on. If Mikey goes and gets a win, then he's in the discussion. Because people remember the last thing you did. Like in hip hop, people remember the last album you sold. In boxing, people remember your last fight. So I don't care what you did for 10 years. You get knocked out that year, people forget about everything you did. People will remember you for your last fight. They'll be like, oh, he washed up. Why? Because he's lost and got knocked out, right? So people remember Mikey Garcia right now as the guy who moved up in division and got destroyed by Errol Spence. So till Mikey Garcia fights a guy and prove himself, then I believe the Mikey Garcia versus Pacquiao fight could sell. But my point, Pacquiao will be wiser to fight Danny. Obviously, he tried to fight Lomachenko, but Lomachenko turned that fight down. And I don't think Lomachenko is interested. And he already turned it down before. So, obviously, after he looked bad his last fight, I don't think he going to want that Manny Pacquiao fight now. But Manny, best bet, if you don't want to fight Errol Spence and go through the headache, is to fight a guy like Danny Garcia. Even though Danny Garcia claimed Keith Thurman stole the Pacquiao fight from me, I'm going to do the same and steal Pacquiao fight from Errol Spence, even though I don't agree with that statement, because Keith Thurman did not steal the fight from you. He just beat you. You got to put yourself in a position to get the Pacquiao fight, to hit the lotto. You lost the Keith Thurman fight, and he lost the Shawn Porter fight. Now, if he would have won them fights, he could have been in the position to fight Manny Pacquiao fight.
Who lost the Shawn Porter
Danny Garcia. So the fact, because Danny claimed that Keith Thurman stole the Manny Pacquiao fight from him.
Okay.
So I'm saying, like, he didn't steal it from you. He just was the champion. You don't have nothing to offer. You don't have a title. You don't have nothing. Like, so that's why I don't see Manny too interested in Danny. I understand if you don't want to fight Danny Garcia, but if not,
I just don't think a lot of people are
fight Errol Spence, man.
Danny's kind of uninteresting. I don't know if a lot of people care about Danny Garcia. We'll see. Who did he fight last?
That guy who gave Shawn Porter a tough fight, and Brona, I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, but
he knocked him out. He looked impressive, but he's a 140 pounder. My point is, Danny is not beating these the best 147 pounders. He been in with two, a loss to two. Keith Thurman and what's his name? Shawn Porter. When he fought Guerrero for a title, Guerrero lost to Floyd, then lost to I believe Keith Thurman, and then had a draw with another fighter, and then he got a title shot against Danny Garcia for a vacant belt. So it's kind of like they gave him.
Good. I think
belt.
We can agree to disagree. I think Mikey's gonna get the fight. That's just I think people want to see that. I think more people are interested.
Man, that's horrible. Now, how about Lomachenko?
Lomachenko
against Manny Pacquiao. I mean, I believe
that's not gonna happen. Not right now. Lomachenko will have to go up too many weight classes. Lomachenko is really focused on clearing out his weight class.
Manny said he will link up with him.
Well, I don't. But he doesn't have a belt or anything to like. Manny Pacquiao.
Manny
like,
is the belt. Manny's the lotto. If you
what
want to
I'm
become
saying,
a
like,
pay-per-view star, you
if
gotta
listen,
go
if
through him.
Lomachenko wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao, he could fight him right now. All he had to do is say it. Like, he doesn't want to
Who?
fight that Lomachenko. He's
Yeah.
taking for whatever reason
Why
he's
not?
taking a calculated risk. I think that he feels that the weight disparity might be a little bit too much to overcome.
Manny will go down and wait till
I'm saying you just a natural bigger fighter. Like you fight
from 108 now.
I'm just talking about like
Professor,
now.
man, what's going on? Pacquiao is the smaller fighter if we're really talking about it because
Compared to Lomachenko?
Because Pacquiao started at a lower weight. So
yeah, he was like 14 years old.
Yeah, but Lomachenko stated he wanted to be. No, he wasn't 14. He was
he was 16 years old
when
he
fought
fighting.
Barrera, Morales, all these guys. They were fighting around 126.
Yeah,
so my point is, Manny's a small fighter too, and he's talking about he's gonna go down in weight to fight him. Let's not forget, Lomachenko fought 132 most of his amateur career.
Listen,
so he's not a small fighter.
You were just asking me why that's not going to happen. Like, this is his thinking. He was like, I don't know if it's true or it's not, but I think he's thinking at this point that I don't really want to kind of deal with that, that kind of weight disparity. And what I'm saying is that he obviously doesn't want to fight because right now there's a lot of people calling out Manny Pacquiao, but there's one person that could call him out right now and get the fight, and his name is Lomachenko, and he's not doing that. So I was like, I'm not even
talking about being on the hope list. You could call somebody anytime, and you get the fight, and you still don't do so, even though that fight will elevate you to high status as far as pay-per-view sales and all that. But my point is, if Lomachenko want to be as great as Manny Pacquiao like he claims, then fight Manny Pacquiao now because Manny Pacquiao is not going to be here forever. I mean, if you don't fight him next or in a fight or two, he's out of the picture, but all the other fights will still be around. Now, that being said,